It's the summer of 2016. Ian McLarney, Joey McLaughlin, and I, myself Brian McDonough, had just graduated 4 years of college. Those 4 years of education and university culminated for this trip. It was only a couple months away until we started our big boy jobs, our 9-to-5s, the jobs that we worked so tirelessly to land. And given that my name is Brian McDonough, and my two best friends are Ian McLarney and Joey McLaughlin, there really was only one place when we looked around the globe that we figured would be worth our time, our energy, our money to travel to, and that was Ireland. At that point in time, you see, Ian McLarney was spending the summer in Cavan. His father is a Cavan native who moved to the United States from Ireland, and his family still lives over there. So at that time, Ian visited his grandfather, tilled the farms, and worked on the farms with other friends from Northeastern University. It seemed like a relevant opportunity for Joey McLaughlin and I to travel abroad, to visit Ian, to travel Ireland. We had 10 days to do just that, really, and I can say those 10 days were quite an experience. From traveling from Dublin to Cork to Kinsale to Blarney and all around Ireland, it was 10 days with two of my best friends. It might be 2021, but every now and then I look back at those pictures and I smile. And today, in this first episode, we'll travel to Cork, and I'll be sharing those pictures with you, those memories from this 10-day journey. We'll talk about the culture of the Emerald Isle. We'll talk about the cuisine, the people. We'll talk about the music, sport, everything that goes into this country. This country that has only experienced independence for just over 100 years. But a country that has so much culture, so much passion. A beautiful place full of beautiful people. It truly resonated, it kind of struck a chord. I was proud to be Irish American on this journey, with two of my best friends who happen to also be Irish American. So join me in this first episode as we travel from Dublin to Cork, as we travel and we kiss the Blarney Stone, as we travel to Kinsale. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment. Let me know what you think of our adventure. Look forward to hearing from you. Before we travel from Dublin Airport to Cork, I want to point out that the beautiful video footage from Cork City is from POPtravel's YouTube channel. The picturesque scenes that you are about to see on the train from Dublin to Cork were lent to me with permission from Andy's Awesome Adventures. Both channels are in the description below. Upon touching down in Dublin Airport, there's three main means of transportation to get you to Cork. You can drive, you can take the bus, or you can take the train. Any way you spin it, traveling from Dublin Airport to Cork City Centre will take you roughly 2.5 to 3 hours. You can always rent a car or take a taxi. It's roughly 158 miles from point A to point B. You could also take a bus, which will cost you about $30, take around 3 hours. I highly recommend taking the train. It pulls you right up to the classic 1893 Cork train station. And the Cork-Mallow service will take about 3 hours, but it's definitely more picturesque. About a 5-minute drive or 15-minute walk, depending on what you prefer, Cork City Centre is my recommendation for your first stop. The city centre is compact, with a busy shopping district, with mainstream boutiques and crafty storefronts. One of the highlights of the city centre is an 18th century indoor English market, known for its organic cheese and meats, which we will discover shortly. Dining options include upscale Atlantic seafood bistros, long-standing pubs that serve Irish lamb stew on just about every corner, and a host of live folk music sessions. Designated a Natural Cultural Institution in 2006, the Crawford Art Gallery is a public art gallery and museum. It is dedicated to the visual arts, both historic and contemporary. The Crawford is based in the center of Cork, in what used to be the Cork Customs House, built in 1724. Among the earliest acquisitions in the gallery's collection are casts of classical Greek and Roman statues by Antonio Canova. These were brought to Cork from the Vatican in 1818. The gallery is a great stop, in my opinion, as it hosts education and outreach programs, and manages temporary and traveling exhibitions. A city of roughly 210,000 inhabitants, a walk through the residential areas of Cork will bring you face to face with many of its friendly locals. Street art, pubs, and outdoor festivals line the residential streets when the weather is nice. Since 1788, there has been a market on Princess Street, extending to the Grand Parade. The English market is known for being the best covered market in the UK and Ireland. During our visit, we first learned of the market on our tour. Locally sourced artisan foods line the market. Locals, tourists, shopkeepers, passerbys all come to life in the narrow drag that celebrated its 230th anniversary in 2018. Many of Cork's top restaurants source their ingredients from the market, which makes it a true center of commerce. One of the more striking figures in the city is St. Finbarrs Cathedral. As we learned on our walking tour, the ground the cathedral stands on has been a place of worship since the 7th century, and it is dedicated to Finbarr of Cork, the patron saint of the city. The cathedral is located on the south side of the River Lee, and its striking presence makes it a focal point for specular reflection. Avid photographers from all over Ireland make the journey to capture this reflection on the Lee. That same River Lee runs into the city center and has been an avenue for exploration ever since the Viking invaders arrived in 915 AD. The city's charter was granted by Prince John in 1185. Cork City was once fully walled, and the remnants of the old medieval town center can be found around South and North Main Streets. Corkonians sometimes refer to the city as the real capital, a reference to its opposition to the Anglo-Irish Treaty in the Irish Civil War. Before a day trip to the Blarney Castle, an afternoon in the beautiful seaside port town of Kinsale, I have to say that the city of Cork left Ian, Joey, and I with a really positive experience. While in Cork, we enjoyed live traditional music at the Blarney Castle Hotel, which is typically available on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 9:30 p.m. and Wednesdays at 8 p.m. We also highly recommend the Franciscan Wells Brewery, which is awarded the best microbrewery in Ireland back in 2008 by Food and Wine magazine. If you're in the mood for live music, check out Oliver Plunkett and Cunahan's Bar. So with that, Ian, Joey, and I hopped in a bus and traveled about a half an hour to the Blarney Castle. Surrounding the Blarney Castle are extensive gardens. There are paths touring the grounds with signs pointing out the various attractions, such as several natural rock formations, with fanciful names such as Druid Circle, Witch's Cove, and the Wishing Steps. The grounds include a poison garden with numerous poisonous plants, including wolfsbone, mandraka, ricin, opium, as well as cannabis. The castle is now a partial ruin with some accessible rooms and battlements. At the top of the castle lies the Stone of Eloquence, better known as the Blarney Stone. Tourists visiting Blarney Castle may hang upside down over a sheer drop to kiss the stone, which is said to give the gift of eloquence. There are many versions of the origin of the stone, including a claim that it was the Lia Fáil, a numinous stone upon which Irish kings were crowned. Walking the grounds of the 13th century Blarney Castle brought you back in time. The poisonous gardens, trails, and landscape was a nice retreat from the more industrious Cork. We spent around 3 to 4 hours on the grounds of the castle. By the end of our visit, we were ready for some more natural beauty and hopped back onto the bus, about 40 minutes south to Kinsale. Arriving in Kinsale, we felt like we landed in a foreign resort town. The village hugged the coast like we were staring at a postcard. Kinsale is a historic port and fishing town in County Cork, Ireland. Located approximately 16 miles south of Cork City, on the southeast corner near the old head of Kinsale, it is located at the mouth of the River Brandon. During the summer months, when the tourist season is at its peak, and the boating fraternity and other tourist visitors arrive in numbers, Kinsale's population reaches roughly 6,000 inhabitants. Kinsale is a holiday destination for both Irish and overseas tourists. Leisure activities include yachting, sea angling, and golf. The town also has several art galleries, and there is a large yachting marina close to the town center. The town is known for its restaurants, including the Michelin star Bastion restaurant, and holds a number of annual gourmet food festivals. Charles Fort, a partially restored star fort of 1677 in nearby Summer Cove. The grounds of Charles Fort are particularly fun to explore and make for scenic images of the town across the harbor. So that does it for our first of 2 episodes in Ireland. I hope you enjoyed some highlights, tips, and recommendations from our stops in Cork, the Blarney Castle, and Kinsale. I'll see you in the next episode, where we travel the Ring of Kerry, stop in Killarney, and hike the Gap of Dunlow. Until next time, don't forget to subscribe, and keep traveling.